I'm 33 years old, and for the past 5 years, I've been in a relationship with a woman who, on the surface, seemed like the perfect girlfriend. Stunningly beautiful, always dressed to kill, the kind of woman who turned heads everywhere she went. And yet, behind closed doors, she was one of the most toxic people I had ever met. Let me explain how I got stuck in this relationship for so long. I met her through a mutual friend when I was 28. At the time, I was doing well, graduated from an Ivy League school, landed a job at a top consulting firm, and eventually started my own business. I had stability, a growing income, and a promising future. And I guess that's exactly why she clung to me. In the beginning, everything seemed perfect. She was charming, affectionate, and incredibly attentive. But within a year, the cracks began to show. She had a nasty habit of criticizing everyone around her, friends, family, even complete strangers. She never complimented anyone, never showed gratitude, and always looked down on people she considered beneath her. I started noticing the way she talked to me too. If we ever break up, you'll never find someone as hot as me. You're a CEO, but you still drive that cheap car? So embarrassing. You really have no fashion sense. It's painful to be seen with you sometimes. She mocked my career decisions, belittled my achievements, and made it clear that, in her eyes, she was settling for me. By year 2, I had already thought about breaking up, but every time I tried, she manipulated her way back in. You don't really want to be alone, do you? She'd say, tilting her head with that sickeningly sweet smile. You're not going to do better than me, babe. I stayed, convincing myself that maybe, just maybe, she would change. But she never did. Last year, my business went through a rough patch. I was under an incredible amount of stress, and instead of being supportive, she made it clear that her love was conditional. If your company goes under, I'm out. I'm not dating some failed businessman. That was the moment I truly realized what I meant to her. I wasn't her partner. I was her meal ticket. Despite the hardships, I managed to turn things around. But something inside me had already broken. I no longer wanted to be with her. There was no love, no warmth, just an unspoken contract that as long as I kept succeeding, she would stick around. And then, our 5-year anniversary approached. She had always said she wanted to be married by 30. She was turning 30 in December. She probably assumed that on our anniversary, I'd propose. But I had other plans. I made a dinner reservation at an upscale Italian restaurant she'd always wanted to visit. I even bought her a gift, a pair of Cartier earrings she had mentioned months before. But there was no ring. On the night of our anniversary, she, as usual, showed up 30 minutes late without an apology. She barely acknowledged me before saying, "Let's go already." During dinner, she talked non-stop about her friends getting engaged and how embarrassing it would be for her to still be single at 30. I just nodded, letting her talk, knowing that this would be the last time I'd ever have to listen to her self-absorbed ramblings. When dessert arrived, I placed the small Cartier box in front of her. She gasped, eyes lighting up, probably thinking it was a ring. She slowly opened the box, and her face fell. Inside were the earrings she wanted. Her head snapped up. "Wait, what is this?" I smiled. "A thank you gift. Thank you for the past 5 years, but from here on out, we're going our separate ways." For the first time ever, she was speechless. Then, after a moment, she scoffed. "You're breaking up with me? No? At dinner?" I nodded. I realized that we don't make each other happy. You deserve someone who meets your expectations, and I deserve someone who actually respects me." She let out a short laugh. "Wow. I don't even care. You were lucky to have me for this long." I expected that response. She was too proud to beg or plead. I simply placed the keys to my apartment in front of her. "I don't think you have anything of mine, but if you do, just throw it away." I paid the bill, stood up, and walked out without looking back. That should have been the end of it. But a few nights later, I got a call from one of her friends. "She's drunk," the friend said. "Like, really drunk. She keeps saying she doesn't regret it, but I think she does. You should come pick her up." I hung up. Then came another call. A mutual friend this time, saying I should at least talk to her again. I refused. She had her chance. And then, the most unexpected call of all, her mother. I had never met her parents. She always said there was no point unless we were engaged. But now, her mother was calling me, asking to meet. Out of curiosity, I agreed. I expected a wealthy, uptight family, maybe even people who had raised her to be superficial. Instead, I found a humble, working-class woman who greeted me with a bow of her head and an apology. "I'm so sorry for how she treated you," her mother said. She left home as soon as she could, chasing a life she thought would make her happy. But when she met you, she finally started coming home again. She talked about you so much. I thought maybe she had finally changed. She hadn't. I explained to her mother why we broke up. Her mother nodded slowly and sighed. "I don't blame you. I just hope, someday, she learns what truly matters." A few days later, I found out that my ex had gone silent. No more passive-aggressive messages, no more indirect attacks. Just nothing. She must have found out that I met her mother. And maybe, just maybe, she realized that her carefully curated life wasn't as perfect as she had always pretended. I don't hate her. I don't even pity her. I just hope, for her sake, that she finally sees the truth. And as for me, I've never felt freer. If you liked this story, make sure to like and subscribe. I have plenty more real-life stories to share, and your support keeps me going. Thanks for watching.